We're going to look at the programming track on the LZV200. So on the back here, terminals P and Q are the programming track outlets, and I've screwed a couple of wires into this terminal block. Got a scrap piece of track that I've soldered these wires to, and the programming track is an important safety net when you're dealing with locomotive decoders. It's only powered very low and it will pulse the information just to find out and check out that the loco is all okay before you give it full power. So to get into the programming track, we use the handset, press menu, and you'll scroll around and you'll find one that says programming on programming track. You've got two options in here, CV and loco address. CV means configurable variable, but we're going to use the quick loco address menu first. We click that. Takes a second, it will send some information back and forth. You'll see the loco moves, there we go, when it starts sending that information. So quite handily, it's found that that number was 1234, so say if I'd forgotten that, I can find it again. We can clear it using this back arrow, and I'm going to put the cab number on, so 251 is the cab number of the loco. Press the lock button to send it, and that's it. I can escape and I can reconfirm it. 251 there, escape. So go into my loco stack, 251, that on there, and there, the loco is now on address 251. So if we have a look at the CVs, it's always best to read each decoder manual when you're dealing with CVs. There are all sorts of things. The specification for CVs, there are some compulsory ones and there are some optional ones and there are some manufacturer specific ones. So the CVs tell the decoder how to behave, and different manufacturers put different features on, so it will control everything from motor control to headlights, tail lights, sound functions, volume of sounds. There's all sorts of things that CVs are involved in, so it's best to be sure before you go into them. So we'll have a look at one of the commonly used ones. So we go to loco address, we just go there, CV, and I'm going to have a look at CV3, which is, in the standard, it's acceleration delay. It's the inertia on acceleration. So if I just enter that, press the loco button to read it, sorry. Come back with a decimal value of 6. So what I'm going to do is just quickly escape out of there, put the loco back on the track, so an acceleration delay is set quite low. If we wind up the throttle, you'll see that the loco accelerates quite quickly. So I quickly come back here, put it on the programming track. CV3. And what I do, if I clear that value of 6 and put a value of 50 in, it takes a little bit longer when you're jumping between main track and programming track as it switches over to the programming track outlet. If you're doing more work on there, so I'll read another CV there, it's much quicker. So we'll go back to the main track. now when I ratchet up the throttle, the loco has got an acceleration delay. It will get up to speed, but it takes much longer to do it. So that's a handy demonstration of the effect of just one of the CVs. As I say, there's 1048, and some decoders now have even more variables how they're set up. So it's an area that it's very useful, but always read the manual and approach with a bit of caution. Always read the manufacturer's original value first, and if you change it, you can always change it back. You're not going to do any damage in there, but it's best to approach it with care. There's much greater detail on the CVs on our website. There are a couple of things that you may find happen on the programming track. You'll get, the most common error is error 02, and that is no response from the loco decoder. It's nothing to panic about. Basically the power hasn't got through to the decoder, and the decoder hasn't pinged back information to say it's there. It can be, well, can actually just be your wires are loose here, so check those. Make sure that power's getting through to the track. Power's got to get up through the loco's wheels, through the loco's contact system, and through any circuit boards within the locos. So you can find that there are disconnects all the way through the locos that can cause error 02. Another one is the motor doesn't want to turn, so it's worth sort of servicing the loco first to make sure that everything is running fine before you do anything else. The other error is error 01, and basically that is a short or overload on the programming track. So it could be caused by someone carelessly leaving a screwdriver over the programming track, or it could be an overload within the loco. Again, check motor contacts and everything like that. On some locos the wheels are isolated on one end, and sometimes if it's been taken apart people put them back in the wrong way, so there can be all sorts of reasons for error 01 as well. This has just been a quick overview. There is so much more detail to be found either on our website and also in the manufacturer's various manuals. I showed you how to change a CV in its decimal value, and most people work in the decimal values. But each CV is made up of 8 bits, so there is also a bit editor here. It becomes important for certain CVs like CV200, which is effectively 8 different switches that switch on and off different features within the decoder. We go much more in depth into the website if you wish. It's really one of those things that you don't actually need to know, but it's there, so we'll quickly have a look. Go into programming track, CV. We'll look at that CV3 again and read it. Okay, so it's come up showing the decimal value of 6. If I press F, it shows you the bits. So bits 2 and 3 combine to make a decimal value of 6. We can change the bits there by just pressing the keypad numbers, and you can show the resultant decimal value by flicking between button F there. If you want to write it, just press loco. If you want to leave it where it is, just escape. As I say, there's so much more detail that you can go into, but it's kind of academic exercise more than anything else.